Alright, so what you are about to hear is the very first Blood Oath Gaming podcast. In this podcast, we go over the state of Halo 5. Also, anything else we think need to change in the Halo franchise. This will be a monthly podcast. In this very first podcast, you will meet our two hosts, Butter, me, and Kat, which is another friend of mine that is the co-owner of Blood Oath Gaming. We will also be bringing on new guests every month, and we will have a few that is just me and Kat, but not as often. We would we would love to have on new guests that are not part of Blood Oath Gaming, so just hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter is down below, and yeah, peace. All right. So this is the first Blood Oath Gaming podcast. Today we'll be going over the changes in Halo 5's landscape, and we'll be starting with the BR in the most recent November and December patches. The biggest changes in these patches was in the November update. The BR was a lot less consistent, and it did not do the damage it should. After the December update, it is a lot more consistent. It still is not the be-all, end-all, but it is still a 4-shot perfect. So keep that in mind. Next, we'll be going over the DMR. The DMR shoots a little bit slower than it used to, but it is a lot better, specifically on Coliseum. When you are fighting against, say, a sniper rifle, it is a lot easier to descope the sniper rifle, especially when you're also taking fire, due to the hip fire spread being a lot smaller, and you do more damage at range. Your damage drop-off is a lot less with the DMR, but if you're close range, you're not going to do as much damage, and you also don't have as much auto aim or drift aim, which is where you drift over a player and it kind of sticks to them in a way, or it's a little harder to turn away from them. So that is also taken away, and it's not quite as effective as it used to be. So also, we'll be talking about the Carbine update, which the main differences to the Carbine is that it shoots it shoots a little bit slower. The damage drop off is definitely there, and also the accuracy of it is not as good as it used to be. It's not pinpoint accurate. It's a lot more random, but it still feels good to use. It's still effective on, say, Coliseum, from keeping a sniper being able to scope in and having a pistol or a DMR player take down the sniper while you have him de-scoping. It's really good in close range engagements, but it is not as good as the BR in mid range. So you will get beat if you're using the carbine in a BR gunfight if you two are both skilled the same. If you end up getting first shot, you'll probably win with the carbine, and it should still be the same amount of shots as it used to be for a perfect. We'll also be going over the active camo. The biggest difference to active camo is as long as you're not sprinting, you are not able to be seen, and it lasts a little bit longer. So you don't have to crouch walk as much, causing the game to be played a little bit faster with active camo. And we'll also be going over the railgun update. The biggest thing with the railgun update is the fact that it takes 33% longer to charge, and that is as soon as you're able to shoot, you fire. And if you if you hold it down, I think you can hold it for up to around a 15-second charge. You can hold it for all of 15 seconds before having to let go or YY and not waste the ammo. It is not as accurate as it used to be. It is not the sniper as it kind of is used on Fathom, but it still gets the job done, and it is not a end-all be-all in a close-range gunfight. If you hit all your shots, or maybe you only miss one shot in the pistol perfect, you'll probably win the gunfight. That is about all that is all the weapons we'll be going over in this section, and we'll be asking Kat what his ideas and how he thinks the game should be played. due to these
All
updates.
right. All right. Yeah. Well, to start with active camo, because I can see it right here that they're tweaking it to make it so that players are hard to see when invisible. I definitely was kind of noticing that where we were playing on our 1v1s, because when I see when you get the camo against me, I try to scan and see if I notice anything walk by, because I'm used to the camo, how camo is in the other Halo games. And if they're decently close to you, it's not that hard to tell. But when you jumped up when I was crouching on the window, because I didn't know where you were, I had no idea you were right there until it was already too late for me to do anything about it, and you jumped me during our 1v1 on Truth.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
my
definitely can see
biggest
it's getting harder
concern
to see.
there.
It's definitely harder to
Yeah.
see.
Uh,
Yeah, it's definitely a lot harder to see.
But
That's
it
for sure.
also takes a lot longer for it to get to its perfectly invisible state. So like say I put a bullet in you, it's going to take it now your shields are going to go up, but around 3 to 4 seconds after, maybe even a full 5 seconds, I haven't timed it myself. It does seem that you can see shield effects for a lot longer when you're running camo. I don't know if it's
Right.
just the few times I've held it, it felt like it, but it also seems like it when I'm shooting at someone or trying to find an active camo player. But I do not like the
Right.
idea of me just straight up walking around becomes invisible. But
Yeah. No.
if
That's not.
it's played correctly, I think it could be okay. Like if they don't dampen footsteps, where they make footsteps the same sound as normal player footsteps, I think they can get away with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with them making it. I'm fine with them making it easier for you to be stealthy when it comes to camo, because I do feel like it is a bit underprotected, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Because it's not that hard to generally
yeah.
figure it out.
And it's also really easy to get killed with it. You can, get
Yeah.
naded, you can get death stuck, you can get,
The sword
team
lunge I
shot.
got, which I.
Yeah, you can get
Hmm.
sword lunge. A lot of things can happen. You can just lose your gunfight, and then the camo's off the
Hmm.
map. But I see what they're
Right.
trying to do with it. I just don't think this is quite the correct way. I think what they should be doing is making it where you don't have a shit ton more health, but like maybe you can take like one more pistol bullet or like two more pistol bullets where you
Right.
can get out of that gunfight a little better,
Find
you
a way to
know.
even it out. Right.
Or maybe since guns have stopping power, which if you don't know what I mean by that, when you're sprinting and you get shot, you stop sprinting and you can't sprint while you're being
Right.
shot at. If say when you have active camo, that doesn't affect you. You can sprint while you're getting shot, so it allows you to get out of that gunfight and just sprint away.
I'd be cool with that.
I would be fine with that. It would be really
I would.
effective.
That would be a great.
So that would be an easy way to balance it out.
I would like that. Because between camo and OV, I'd rather really take camo. So I'd like that. I would be completely fine changing it so that if you get shy, it doesn't really affect you, or at least affects you less.
Yeah, you don't get stopped or you don't get pulled out of a sprint, you know.
Right.
All right, you want to go to the next weapon?
Yeah, we're gonna go
We'll
to
go
the BR
to
next.
BR. Yeah.
Okay. As far as the battle rifle goes, I mean,
Well, let's talk
I
about
love it.
November update first. Let's talk about before this
Okay.
December update.
Yeah. Before, before, no, before. Honestly, I really felt there was too many times that the pistol could outpace me, and in general, the pistol could outpace the BR. Hell, the AR could too, if you knew what you were doing, and if it was at the decent, like a decent range for the AR. It was too inconsistent. It wasn't really reliable. It was also too slow. That's one thing I didn't like, because the pistol is just, it's strong, and for as strong as it is, it has pretty good speed on it. So you'd probably get outmatched if you had the BR and there was a guy, whipped out a pistol on you, which that I'm not a big fan of. But coming to the new update, I think it's right around where it needs to be. I'm pretty happy with it. As long as it makes it better, because the BR is my, tool choice. I like to run a BM or a BR and SMG, and I'm happy. I'm happy with how it is.
So to kind of play devil's advocate here, what now I love the VR. I hated the state of the November update. It wasn't
Right.
consistent, and the December update feels better. I think they can, tweak my ranges a little bit. I feel like I should do a little bit more damage close range, but that's just me personally. I am one of those guys that will pick up a BR over his pistol in arena. I will keep
Right.
AR and BR. But so to play devil's advocate, for someone that would have the argument of let's keep the BR the way it was with its inconsistentness or inconsistencies and just make it where it's legitimately only good in this range and like say it stays in the reticle because that's pretty much what it did. Now it comes out of said reticle. But say it stays in that
Right.
reticle. Just because it's incorrect doesn't mean, just because it's not in this correct spot you want it in doesn't mean you can't hit the player. So I mean,
Right. I will agree with you. I I do think it should do more. It should do more damage up close, because even say, if you have a BR and you're fighting a guy with the AR, sure, the AR has the net capability. It can give you, the 36 bullets in the clip, whatever it is. He'll give you like probably 10 bullets in the time it'll take you to give him a good 6 or 2 bursts.
yeah, two bursts probably take around 10
But
bullets in the
maybe
air.
maybe maybe that's the thing though, because maybe it should do extra damage because that's 3 bullets going in the same spot. So maybe that should, if you're not, like thrusting, if you're just standing there, it's going through the same spot, it should count like maybe a penetrate effect or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think some of the big changes that will need to happen to it to the BR itself is to make it a little bit stronger at either A, close ranges, or B, longer ranges. Because as of now,
Mm-hmm.
it is not beating a DR at medium range to long range.
No.
It is not beating a pistol at close to medium range. And if you are in CQB, close quarters combat, which is your melee combat, you better hope you hit that melee headshot. Because there's no way you're
Mm-hmm.
winning that gunfight if you don't. If you miss the melee headshot, you die. But it is very, very good. It is still a 4-shot perfect. Meaning I can still kill you faster than you can kill me with the pistol. So I mean that's
That's
just
if you hit
kinda
the perfect
the
though,
big
and
thing.
that's a big if coming
But
down to
also, say you hit 3 of your headshots, you only need 2 more body shots. You
true.
know, all you need to do, say you hit 3 body shots, that's their shield's gone. That's pretty much their shield's gone.
True.
You can switch to your pistol at this point. You'll probably still win by switching your pistol. You thrust and pull out your pistol and then hit them. So, I mean, you can get away with that pretty easily, but there are some changes I still want to see happen to it. But as of now, I am very fine with the way it shoots.
Right. I was definitely having fun with it today. That is for sure. I was having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so you want to go to the next weapon, which seems to be the carbine?
Carbine, yep.
Yep.
The carbine, I really don't know what has been changed that much. I used it a couple times, but I didn't really feel anything.
So I think that's what the main idea of this update was on the carbine specifically. The carbine felt really good to everyone. You know, the damage drop off is there, but it's not as bad as it used to be. It was like a 29 to 30% difference. And
Right.
like it's not like the damage got dropped off as hard. It's an 8% damage drop off and around a 29% sticky aim drop off. Meaning even with me zooming
Gotcha.
in on say all right, so let's think about Coliseum. If I'm sitting on rocket spawn, or I think it's called perch sometimes, but if you're sitting rocket spawn and there's a little catwalk where sniper is. if you're standing there and you're strafing, I have to rely on
Mhm.
my aim. And say you're using DMR, you are still in your sticky aim zone. Therefore, you are
Right.
going to have the upper hand in that situation. But once again, it feels like the BR or the DMR should have it should be superior in this situation. My carbine shouldn't
Right.
be outgunning you because I had sticky aim and you didn't. It should be, all right, I'm using the carbine out of its range. I need to specifically use this. I need to be hitting all my shots, or I just need to pull out a different weapon,
Right.
which is hammered in really well in this update.
My thing about the carbine is I feel it's kind of weak, the standard one anyways. I feel that it's kind of weak, and what I mean is, say, if I have a carbine and you have a DMR, and say, we're just playing Kali, I'm on rockets, you're on sniper. If we're shooting each other and it's all headshots, that DMR is gonna kill me first. And I feel like it doesn't match up as well. I'd like it to be able to.
Well,
You know what I
actually,
mean?
it depends on your trigger finger. The
True.
carbine comes down to how fast you can pull your right or left trigger, depending on how you have it set up. Personally, I have a
Right.
decent trigger finger. 9 times out of 10, I'm not getting into a gunfight with a carbine. But when I do run the carbine, a lot of the times I will end up winning the gunfight anyways. It's a gunfight where maybe I shouldn't have won that, but I still win it because I'm hitting more shots, or I'm just putting down more lead
Right.
than this person, or whatever it shoots, whatever the carbine shoots. I'm just putting
And
down
that
more
might
bullets. So
Right. And
it's
that
kind of
might
the
just
big
be me
thing.
because I'm not really one to. I have a decent trigger finger. I'm just not really one to use that kind of thing. Really.
And also, it feels like one of those guns where you use it to A, drop someone's shield, or B, kill
Right.
someone because their shield is dropped. Because
Right.
it readies up faster than the BR and the DMR, but not as fast as the pistol. So it's one of those things where
Right.
it's readying up quick enough to be a swap weapon for a headshot. Or
And
it's
I
also
love.
there for the pistol swaps. So
Right. I love the. I love the carbine. I do. It's one of my favorite weapons in the Halo series. I was extremely upset when they took it out in Reach. I really was. That really irritated me. And I just wanted to be able to stand up to the other guns, not just in terms of fire rate. I would be fine if it was slower, just did more damage. Because even in, say, like ODST or 3, it didn't just really stand up as much because it has that rate of fire. I wouldn't mind seeing a little change to that is all. You know what I mean? I want to be able to stand alone, stand up with the other weapons is all in itself.
and I
'Cause that was one
can
thing I liked about
yeah.
4. It was a fun main to use, but you would probably get your ass kicked.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of how the way the gun is. So if we want to talk about
Right.
like Halo 4, it was fun to use, but unless you had a really good trigger finger or just didn't miss, you're getting outgunned by the BR and the DMR. That's still how it is in this
Right.
game, but
And that's my
instead of
issue.
like Halo 4, it readies up. All right, so the carbine readies up around like 3 or a solid like 15 frames faster than the
Okay.
DMR, which means a lot of the times when I'm hot swapping or just fast swapping, I'm going to end up pulling it out and like pulling the trigger as I hit Y. Like I start pulling the trigger when I hit
Right.
Y because I know this person's one shot. I need to be sure I'm, getting away from this person or just not losing this gunfight as badly as I seem to be right now. So, I mean,
Right.
that's where it shines. It will shoot faster than the BR or the DMR in any situation like that.
I'll just have to try and test it out on Slayer and see.
But also, it is
Usually I
still like
always run the
pistol is
PTR.
gonna be better. The only thing
Right.
is that entire argument for that gun, the pistol's gonna do better. It's really good for
That's just
de-scoping a
what.
sniper, but besides that, I don't see much use.
Right. That's just what irritates me about it is Because I'd rather take damage really over rate of fire. That's my personal play style.
Yeah, same. All right, you want to go ahead and head to the DMR?
Sure, going down to the DMR.
Should be right under the carbine.
Reduces effectiveness at close range when firing from the hip. So this update for the DMR has to do with its range. Reduce the effectiveness at close range and when firing from the hip, while strengthening its effectiveness at slightly lower range engagements. Okay, I'm fine with that. When I was using it today, it definitely felt different to me. I was unsure of it, and it's gonna take a while for me to get used to using this new one. Cause didn't they slow down the rate of fire or something like that? That's kind of the feel I was getting. Like it felt like it was a tad
Fire
slower.
rate was decreased by approximately 8%. Something you're
Okay.
gonna feel, but something you're not going to, you know, absolutely be like, I can't use this gun. This is
Right.
unusable for me. Why did I waste my time picking this gun up? But the main reason why this gun is the way it is now and not good in CQB or close quarters and, kind of mediocre at mid range is the
Right.
fact of it being the designated marksman rifle. And let's look at, a real life example. A designated marksman rifle or a single shot real life weapon, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but you've got to think those are going to kick a lot harder than your automatics, your assault rifles
Right.
or your fully automatics. So say you're shooting a fully automatic, you can put down more lead than me, but my DMR is going to reach farther, not have as much bullet drop off, and hit the target with a lot more oomph behind it. And that's kind of the usage of
Right.
this DMR now. It hit, say you're fighting a sniper, it hits that sniper like a truck. It is a 4-shot, it's a 5-shot headshot perfect, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's about right. And it has, it can legitimately shoot from all the way. If you're sitting in blue cave and the other guy and the sniper is sitting on red elbow, red rocket elbow,
Mhm.
you are not even at your drop off range yet. You are just hitting your drop off range, meaning you're still doing full damage, or you just need to boost forward and then you're doing full damage. So that is
I mean,
across Coliseum diagonally, and you are still doing full damage and hitting that sniper like a truck.
yeah, yeah. If it's gonna be slow, it has to be able to hit like a truck for sure. And as long as it's like that, I'm fine with it. Because I select the DMR. It is my secondary. It's a gun I will always take below the BR because I'll generally take the BR first if I'm going for medium to long range engagements decent just because I'm a BR type of person. Unless I'm going to be extreme long range, you know what I mean? BR is going to be my choice every time.
And I can definitely agree
Uh,
with you there. The only thing, the DMR supports my playstyle a lot because,
right.
so I keep talking about Coliseum. On Coliseum, I normally have the playstyle of I'm going to hold down base or I'm going to hold down a side of the map. So say I'm holding down a side of a
Right.
map, I'm going to take that DMR and probably hold down snipe side on the little snipe bridge or snipe loft, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I'm just going to hold down that area with the DMR. And then I'm probably still going to have a Magnum or a BR as my secondary, depending on how the match is
Right.
being played and how many people are dying. I might just use the Magnum. But if someone gets to their front base or something, they get on base cat or their
Right.
base bridge or whatever you want to call it. Once they get out to open base or base window, it is really not good for me to be using that DMR at that point. Unless I am falling back to my
Right.
cave and putting shots in that way, it's more useful for me to just put pistol shots down because I can get a pistol perfect faster than a DMR perfect at that range.
Right. Yeah, because and that's a good example because another thing would be like a perfect job for the DMR would be if, I'm pinned down at rockets on Kali, and then you're over there either on sniper spawn or on sniper bridge. That's a perfect job and range for the DMR right there, and it's kind of within BR range, but you'd still be hard pressed, especially if you're getting barreled down with a sniper, because you probably won't be able to shoot him enough times to put him out or pin him down. But with the DMR, you'll be able to more than likely. But another good, but example of a perfect job for the BR would be on the rig, right on the BR spawn, anywhere between the catwalks to basement, over to below, where the sniper actually spawns is, well within range and you can adjust anywhere. That's a great job right there for the BR. Yeah, is exactly, what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, like,
I'm fine with
your
it. I'm
play
fine with the
style
speed going
works.
down.
Yeah, and I mean, like, your play style
Right,
works really well with the BR. You happen to hold
right,
our front, like, so when we played fours, and we will be competing in this new season, or at least to see how MLG plays. So when we compete, or competed, however you want to say it, I would always see Cat ending up a little farther forward than me, or I would just be roaming around, but he would still end up closer to the enemies than our designated spawn person, whoever we had sitting back and making sure we had fairly safe spawns and just kind of putting sniper
right,
shots down, be it me or some other teammate we had at the time. And whenever Cat was, say, holding down with the BR or something, he would be holding down at perfect BR range. I can't, I can't fault you for saying the BR is better at the ranges you play, because the DMR, you would
right,
get completely crapped on if you tried to use the DMR in the ranges you're
right.
playing
Yeah,
at.
I'm
And I mean, it's
I'm
definitely a
not trying to throw it out
situational
the
gun.
window.
Yeah,
Right. Because like I can see right here it says at the end, thus making the DMR less effective in CQC situations. That's exactly how a designated marksman rifle should be.
exactly.
And before the update, this it kind of wasn't.
Yeah, it was kind of one of the. Pretty much all the weapons were a jack of all trade, and it was really
Yeah,
dumb.
that kind of like how 4 was, excluding the carbine.
Yeah, because Carbine
So I've
kind of
seen
got
people
crapped
do
on.
some nasty stuff on 4 with the DMR, especially at decent BR range. It
Yeah,
should never happen.
that DMR and BR spam was atrocious in Halo
Pain in
4.
the ass.
Yeah. Alright, you want to go ahead and switch to the railgun? It should be the third weapon from the bottom.
Real gun, real gun, real gun. Oh, just some of the gunfighter magnum. Railgun. Yeah. So the railgun now, I am honestly kind of split, because I was so used to it before, and it's not bad now. It's that I'm unused to it because now the charge is longer, and before, man, I had that charge down to a science, and it worked for me perfectly, especially on Fathom. That is the reason I love that map. I get that railgun, man, and I'm having a fun game just terrorizing people. And I have to learn how to use it. And I'm not bad with it now. I just have to learn how to get the feel for it, which I don't have with the update. I don't dislike it. It bothers me that it doesn't feel right to me personally yet. Keyword being yet.
So, my biggest issue with this gun is that we're told that the charge time compared to original default value, or
Mhm.
time to hold a charge, is 100%. It's not. It's more like 70%, being dead honest, because I've looked at some comparisons. They're a little off on that, so if you're going by the Waypoint website, keep that in mind. That's off. But I do like how, say, every now and then I get into one of those gunfights where I need to hold down the railgun a little longer because this guy's jumping around a little more, or he just boosted when I should have shot. So I'm going to hold the trigger down a few more seconds and then kill him. And it's
Right.
amazing in that aspect, but it is not one of those things where I can just hot swap to the weapon and pull it out and kill someone. I've got to pretty
Which
much
I did.
think about killing. I have to, like, be
Right.
like when I'm using the railgun, as you may have noticed, I legitimately don't switch off of it. I don't put it in my back pocket
Right.
unless I have already shot, because it's just not a
Mhm.
useful gun in a back pocket anymore.
Unless you've ever watched me use it, like I really just can't explain it to you. I don't think about using it. I really don't. I see someone, bam, whip it out, and you hold it for like 3 seconds and it fires. I hold it till I know, and I'm right on target almost all the time. I was pretty consistent with hitting my shots for it. Now with it being a little different like that, and I understand the point, it throws me off a little bit, and I'm not bad with that. I was still making decent kills today. It feels different, and I'm not used to it yet. But I'm not one to really pick up power weapon stuff. The railgun is by far my favorite power weapon and power weapon of choice, and I would, if something with it goes wrong, I would have a serious issue.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it feels a lot better on Fathom. I mean, it used to be one of those guns where if you picked it up and you were playing CTF, that flag is 100% going in. Now,
Right.
there's a chance that flag doesn't make it. There's a chance the guy
Right.
charging up the railgun doesn't charge that railgun long enough, or ends up missing because he's trying to go for a shot that's a little too far off and didn't zoom in when he shot. Or some small things
So
like
yeah, that
that. So, I mean, it is nice. I can stop a play really easily by shutting down a railgun player. Say I run for that BR and then shut down railgun player. All my team has to do is just flood in, and even if we don't get said flat, say they still score the flag, we're making that next flag in because we just four-man flooded, and railgun is still top mid or wherever railgun was. So it's not like it's in play at the time.
right. I I mean, I get their point with it. They want to make it less effective as a CQC weapon, and you can't use a snapshot like before because it's supposed to be a type of sniper weapon. That's fine. I I get it, and I'll get used to it. I'm not against it.
All right. You want to go ahead and start talking about weapon starts?
Weapon starts. Do you want to include talking about like what we were talking about last night, the pistol and SMGs and all that, like the dual wield kind of stuff in here, or do you want to
Uh,
wait for when we get to
we'll probably
Halo's?
talk about that here too. So sure.
Okay. I mean, as far as weapon starts go, I really wasn't against, and I know a lot of people are. I really wasn't against how four and Reach had their weapon starts with your particular choice. I wasn't against it. I like the idea of being able to have designated squad weapons. You know what I mean? Because say, you know, I'll throw like we have the BR because that's my favorite. Then you have the DMR because you like to play range, and then someone can have a SMG, so we have a support, and then we have an AR. So now we can break up and have actual squad in team play. I wasn't against that having to start, but or I'm not against that having to start. And BRs was always my weapon of choice, especially in Halo 4, unless I was mastering different weapons. But I love the storm rifle too, so I wouldn't even be against that for in like a particular playlist. I'd be cool with that. I think as far as HCS goes, the best bet is probably having the BR and like pistol or SMG. I think would probably be a good place to start it. That usually is how Halo's run and how the fans have really responded positive is when it's been run by having the BR primary. Because I guess the community just likes the precision weapons more just by how they work. But one thing I will say is this, and this is one thing I hate that almost every particular Halo has done is don't take a certain weapon out of it. I hate that. Because even though it was complete garbage, the AR from Combat Evolved was so much fun to use, even though it didn't do anything. At least in campaign, it was fun to use. And then they took it out into you didn't have it at all. Just here's the BR, here's this pistol. It might help you. It might hurt your shield a little bit. You were better off taking an SMG or a elite plasma rifle or something like that. And that just kind of bothers me. I hate when they take weapons out. They took the carbine out in Reach. Hated that. That really upsets me because those weapons were there from the start, or even if they were new, like, you shouldn't take them out because people like them. They enjoy playing with them. It's fun to use something different once in a while. Yeah, as far as that goes, that's all I have to really say about it.
Yeah, and to kind of further elaborate on the whole uh, possible BR starts, in my opinion, if we were to do BR starts, the BR needs to be a close to medium range. It needs to take place of
Right.
the pistol, and it needs to be, pretty much not effective at long ranges. And they also need to make the
Right.
carbine somehow, a medium range, something that can compete with the BR. Because that's the
Right.
biggest problem with Halo 3. If you go back and play Halo 3 and you play in the MLG playlist, you have no reason to pick up any other gun besides maybe an SMG or a Mauler and dual wield. Or like dual wield Maulers. Like the little shotgun, the hand
Yeah,
shotguns.
I
Like you have
remember
no
those.
reason to switch off that BR unless it's a power weapon. And I feel like having pistol spawns, that's really useful, and having single gun spawns, that's really useful because it makes me want to go pick up a gun. Because if I get into a gunfight, say I'm fighting two people, and I get an easy pick on one guy because I nade him, but I'm really low on
Right.
ammo because I was getting ready to reload when I found these two players. Well, if I have like a BR in my back pocket, that is amazing because now I can just hot swap to my BR and start shooting again and not have to be
Mm,
down reloading trying not to get shot. I can just be, boost, hot swap, and start shooting again. So I think that's one really
right.
big difference that is going to be that needs to stay in the game, I should say.
My thing about Halo is and my thing about 4 is I find it nice to be able to have some customization and choice over what I get to use. And when I say this, I don't mean you necessarily have to give like the requisition packs and the armor abilities and all this kind of stuff. I'm fine with having the thrust and armor ability, whatever. I don't really use it all that much. But I did like being able to choose my own weapons, and I wouldn't mind being able to choose like our own like sights and stuff like that. And what I mean by that is, I am not a fan of the box sight in Halo 4. I am really not a fan of the sight for the BR in Halo 3. Didn't really care much for them.
Yeah.
And if my basic one is I either like the hybrid or I like the standard. Unless I'm using the long shot because I was playing Warzone like that and I'm not trying to get close. So I'd like to be able to have just a little bit more customization. I don't want anything like Call of Duty, like I can put this on my freaking SMG and it shoots freaking fire rounds. I don't want that. I just want to have a little bit more customization with my stuff is all.
So what would
Is
you
when it
say
comes to
if
it. So I'm not
they
against having class
yeah.
starts.
So what if they say added class starts, but in the way of they add three new weapons into the game. One that's a single
Okay.
shot that is a little slower but does enough damage to warrant using the single shot. They have a burst shot
Okay.
that is, it can stand it's just as good as the other weapons. And then they have a single shot fast firing that is just as good as the other weapons. It has the same they all have the same time to kill perfects and body shots, but you get to pick which one you like the feel of more. And it's not maybe it's not say a class, but say like Halo 2. You can pick to spawn in with the pistol. I think it was like you could pick to spawn in with the SMG or the brute plasma rifle
Right.
or
Like that. That's what I'm
yeah, the other plasma rifles.
right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like that. Because people personally, I'm not against having all the armor abilities and all that stuff. I had fun with 4. The community was kind of split on it, I guess, because where 5 is, I think we have a strong fan base for the 343 industries like myself, and then you have a strong fan base against, which is, the really Bungie bandwagon type of people. And there's people that are against some of the stuff that 343 has done, and they have, actual legitimate opinions and criticisms, and then there's people that don't. And if you have legitimate criticism, sure. I would like to have some customization. I would be fine even if you split it into a whole different playlist, like because we have like the ranked and then we have the social now, and then you put like advanced or something like that, and this is now you have like an SMG start or something like that. Because I enjoy games like that. I'm not against having like the class customization where you can choose your squad. Because I think honestly maybe it would make tournaments a little bit kind of different. Just switch stuff up once in a while. Because now it's not just everyone has a BR. Let's all go pop each other 4 times and that's game. Now it's now you have to be careful coming around the corner. There might be 2 SMGs. There might be SMG and the AR. There might be a freaking DMR and a BR ready. You don't know. So now you gotta really work with your team. I like that. I think that's where a lot of games are going right now, is to put into that teamwork. I think that brings in a lot of viewers personally. I'm not quite sure how. It would really depend on how it's done, because I'm not sure how the community would take it. I think it would probably be 50-50, because that's how the base is right now, split between each other. And there's just people that no matter what Halo does, it's not going to be good enough, or they won't give it a chance at all. I'd be open to giving it a chance and try it and see what it's like and see how it feels. Now, if we do it and enough people go, and resoundingly we go, no, this didn't work, we didn't like it, then by all means, it should be taken out. But I wouldn't be fine. I would be fine with having a different weapon choices once in a while, because honestly, what game have you ever played for more than 10 years where the only starting weapon is the same freaking assault rifle with a different skin? You know what I mean?
Which, I mean,
Like
in a way,
that's what I'm getting at.
yeah.
And that's
I mean,
a
it's
big part of
definitely
Halo
something
too. But
that,
there's
yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. Like, the AR
right.
spawns and,
You
like,
gotta make some
different
changes.
spawns. Like, in this game, they made a big change. They stepped away from BR spawns. Every other
Right.
competitive game, even if you played Halo 4 GBs, Halo 4 GBs were BR spawns. You spawned in with that BR and you
Right.
used it. In this game, we're spawning in with pistols, and a lot of people are kind of complaining about the pistol, but they're trying to make it a different game. They're trying to make it feel different than all the other Halos, because if it feels the same as the other
Right.
Halos, what makes me want to play this one instead? Say Halo 6 comes out tomorrow. Say they have the same BR
Right.
start as all the other Halo games, but I specifically didn't like Halo 6's BR in the beta. Why would I waste my
Right.
money to go buy it or waste my time to go play it when I can just keep playing Halo 5? Because Halo 5 is still going to have
Exactly.
enough people there for me to go play a match. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if we take it as the same COD way, I don't like any of the new CODs besides Black Ops 3 personally. Black Ops 3 is the
Right.
only futuristic COD I personally like. I can still go and get matches on Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Call of Duty World at War. I might have to go
Right.
and play on PC for World at War, but all three of those COD games are all older COD games, but I can go play them if I wanted to.
Right.
But if I also like, say I'm really bored one day and I want to go play Black Ops 3, I can still get into a match on Black Ops 3, even though it's a 2 or 3 year old game now. 2 or 3 cycle old game.
Right. See, I'm I like the new Call of Duty, and I don't play Call of Duty competitively. I play it just for BS with my friends. You know what I mean? I'm not like some kind of hardcore Call of Duty person. I'm not one of those guys camps in the corner and all that kind of crap. I'm not like that. And you can tell because you've played Call of Duty with me, and my style and Halo and going to Call of Duty does not transfer over well whatsoever. That has never been my game. That never will be my game. I don't play that game well enough to even begin
Yeah.
to think about playing that game well enough. No, I know. I have no business there. I just don't like my big thing, particularly the largest issue I have, and the reason why I don't really want to hear anything that the Bungie bandwagon or any of the opinions they have to say at all is because it seems like, and Hasbro 3 made a lot of mistakes. Sure, every company does. My thing is, anything they try to do at all that really isn't that big of a deal and they just try to test, all of a sudden it gets blown through the roof. That's why I have such a big issue, because the one thing, well, no, not the one thing. There's a lot of things that set Halo and every other game apart, particularly Call of Duty. One of it used to be the community, which is really starting to worry me, because now it's kind of not really feeling like that so much from one particular perspective. And what I mean is, like, say right now, because I'm looking at the AR. I'm looking at a picture of the AR on the actual Waypoint site right now, and I like that you started with the AR and pistol. How you did in Halo 5 when it first came out. It was fun. It was a nice change of pace, because you came from Halo 4, where everyone had a BR, or Halo 2, where everyone had a BR, or Halo 3, where everyone had a BR, or Halo 4, or Halo Reach, sorry, where everyone had a DMR. And now you have an AR because it actually does something. Because in anything but 4, it didn't do anything, and in 4, it wouldn't matter because the BR would outshoot you.
Which,
You
I
know,
mean,
even if you did something
yeah. Go ahead.
like even if they did something right now, because I'm looking to make the game more realistic. I'm looking at a picture of the AR right now. I can see it has select fire. So say, you know, from full auto, now you can put it on single shot. So now if you're getting engagements, not necessarily with a DMR, but with a BMR or a BR now, and it's medium range, now you can have a little bit more accuracy to try and fire back. I wouldn't have a problem if they tried to test that out. I wouldn't have a problem with that. There's a lot of people that would go through the roof. I don't mind Halo trying out some new stuff, or even if you could just use the freaking flashlight on the AR. You know, there's a lot of customization stuff you could do to make the game fun, beautiful, and enjoyable. And I think that a lot of people are not open enough to having change in the Halo game series or the community. And that's my biggest issue with Halo as a whole. I don't find anything wrong with trying new stuff and experience, because there's never been a Halo I haven't really liked. But the biggest thing I fail to understand is how every Halo is kind of a root Halo, because honestly, no Halo feels the same to me. That is what a root Halo is. They've all tried different things, because 1, 2, 3, and Reach are nowhere near the same in any way, shape, or form. 3 is nothing like any of the other games in any way, shape, or form. And 3 is, though it had a lovely campaign, is by far my least favorite. Reach is my second. Honestly, like I was not a big fan of how 3 felt. Wasn't a big fan of how it played. It played too freaking slow, and it was too freaking bulky, and you know that's an issue I have. Going, oh well, Halo 5's so fast paced. You can get to cover, and you can do this and you can do that. Yeah, dude, I'm getting shot at. Why would I stand right here and get freaking shot at in a war? That's just kind of common sense, is to get to cover. You know, because even in Gears of War, you can literally get to cover. And I'm not saying I don't want Halo to be like that. That's one thing I'd take an issue if they try to do something like that. I'd take a huge issue with that. I don't want it to be a cover game. I'm not a huge fan of those games. I don't like that. But I have no problem with them trying something new. And just because you can get to cover now and crap like that, I don't really understand what people are really crying about, because you can run. You're a freaking super soldier in a $1 trillion armor suit, and you're telling me I can only run as fast as a fat lady chasing a donut truck? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. But anyways, that's my feelings towards it.
So to kind of refute your argument here, or play devil's advocate, because I'm 100% with everything you said. Pretty much.
Right.
So to kind of play devil's advocate here, the thing in Halo 3 is you have to keep an eye on where you're moving. You can't move out in the open like an idiot. You move out in the open, you're
Right.
getting destroyed. In Halo,
Right.
in Halo 5, I can go and move out in the open and still win gunfights sometimes. I can,
Right.
I can go bottom, I can go under base, I can go bottom base and or where the old SMG used to spawn on Coliseum. I can go down there and still live sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
And then
And that's like
and
the
then 4 is
biggest
kind of
thing.
like a medium ground.
Yeah. And
Right.
4, it didn't matter where you went. As long as you had the personal gun skill or you had better connection than the other guys, you're
Mm-hmm.
beating them. Because the
If
TTK
you were lucky
was
or
way
whatever.
too high.
Right.
The time to kill
Right.
was just 3 times better than it should
Right.
have been.
I think 5, honestly, I like Halo could stay like this for a while. It's gonna, eventually need to make some kind of evolutional jump. Again, I'm fine with how 5 is. I enjoy it. I think out of all the Halos, this is probably one of the most fun to watch tournaments, in a tournament way. Because the thing about Halo 2 is, even though it was really fun, a lot of people knew the BXR crap and all that kind of stuff, which is really annoying. Because I so many people do that crap in Halo 2, and it really just takes the fun out of it. It really does. To just BS it like that.
Yeah, and it feels
But
kind of
5
like
is really
every
fun.
time you die by a BXR, you kind of sit there and you're like, well, that was really unfair. But the only
Right,
way
that's
I
super
can change
unfair.
my play style is stop moving, is start camping
Right.
more often. And then you kind of get in
Right.
that dilemma. It's like, well, I'm a camper if I camp. I'm going to get BXR'd if I don't camp. There is no middle ground for me to be in Halo 2 because of the lunge range being god awful.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
You can't do anything in 3 if you get caught by 2 dudes and you're in a long haul. You're fucked. You might as well turn around and start shooting because you ain't getting away. Which is just that's kind of unfair. Is all you should at least get a chance. You know what I mean? Just the way is 5 is I personally I enjoy it. 4 was a good solid testing ground to see where we needed to get and where we are, especially coming from Reach, because Reach was I enjoy Reach.
was not
It's fun.
great competitively.
I like every Halo. It wasn't great competitively, and multiplayer kind of was lacking. Particularly, weapons weren't balanced and all that kind of crap. It was a lot of just DMR and pistol spam and all that stuff. And then the freaking armor abilities, which were a bit, and I'm not saying armor abilities are bad, just that they were a bit much. Particularly armor lock was a bit much. But yeah, that is a big issue with that right there. And 5 it's not too hard to kill somebody. It's not necessarily too easy to kill somebody. You're not a freaking paper mache, just cardboard cutout like Call of Duty where you get shot once and you die. And then it's not like Battlefield or Titanfall where it takes 3 freaking rockets to kill a Titan and all this kind of crap. It's a decent middle ground. It's like you have armor, it just happens to come back if you lose it. It's kind of how it works. It's not too fast paced. It's the thing I think that the reason people mistake this is they think that it's a really fast paced game. It's mediumly fast. It focuses a lot on control. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand and they respond negatively to it because that hasn't been what Halo has been about necessarily in the past. And that is completely different because 5 is set up to be in a tournament style way. And I think that is perhaps what is maybe the major issue because people mistake it for being like a control type of thing because that's kind of how Call of Duty works. It's kind of like map control, but really just somebody locking down the spawns and staring into your spawn and shooting you every time you spawn. But that's not how you control a Halo map. A Halo control map is, and you can lock spawns. Not that many people know how to do it really. At least not your average person. I don't know how. You know how to do it. I don't. I don't.
And I
You
mean,
know how to
it's
control the
also,
map.
yeah, I mean, it's also one of those things where map control has always kind of been one of those things, but there's always been a big difference between someone that knew map control or someone that played competitively. Because normally your competitive players would only know map control when they,
Mm-hmm.
only your competitive players would know map control, know map spawns and things like
Right.
that. And it's getting to the point where
Right.
Halo 5 is it's becoming so accessible to play competitively now with the HCS playlist being as promoted as it is. It is so easy to go into that playlist and say you get destroyed on a map of Regret Slayer. Oh, he was sitting top mid and staring at blue base when we were spawning in, therefore we all spawned on bottom red or top red base on Regret. Alright, maybe
Right.
next time we get control, we need to start doing that, and then maybe we'll get more kills out of our short bursts of control, or maybe we
Mm-hmm.
can start elongating our control a lot more instead of just getting destroyed by two people getting easy picks and then getting flushed by four players, which is the biggest difference between Halo 5 and any other Halo game. It is so much more, you need all the people shooting as you can because it is so much more
Right.
difficult to get those 1v4s where you win it because a grenade kills everyone. Grenades are not as, everything is so much more balanced to where you have to work as a team. And it's a lot different
I
than
will
most other
admit.
Halos because of it.
Right. I will admit to this. When coming from 4 to 5, when I was new to Halo 5, it bothered me because I always played solo. I didn't have many people that play Halo 5 because most of my friends just they didn't love whatever. But I've always loved Halo. I've always been a Halo fan all my life. And coming from 4, where I could just go into any BTB match or anything I wanted, I could just go and just ruin people. Wouldn't really be a problem, you know what I mean? I could match almost up to anybody I'd fight. Wouldn't be an issue. I'd do, freaking phenomenal. I'd go like 25-9, whatever, a lot of the times. And I came over to 5 and I felt like I lost a lot of my skill, and it irritated me because if I went by myself, I generally wouldn't do that good because it's hard to play by yourself in Halo 5. And a lot of people go, "Oh, Halo 5 really punishes you for playing by yourself." And to a degree, maybe that is true. Because as I learned and got used to the game, and I joined up with you guys, and I learned how to play it better and be smarter and get more skill. I do a lot better now because Halo's not about coming out with the best KD and all that kind of. At least Halo 5 isn't, and I think that's what a big point of it is. And the difference is because the map, like controlling the map is such a, and playing smart with your tactics and teammates and all this is such a really big vital thing because it's a tournament style type of game. And I think that's maybe what a lot of people are struggling with, because all the Halos before used to be just about having a nice gunfight. A nice gunfight. And I have no problem with Halo having a social side that just wants to chill and enjoy their stuff. But I really am for Halo being a tournament style too, because I've always wanted to be competitive in Halo. It's the only game I cared to go positive and be competitive for. Anything else is whatever. I like having the MLG scene and all this kind of stuff, ESL, all that. I like having it. It's fun. It's enjoyable to watch. I like to compete. It makes the game fun, especially with my friends and my team. And I think maybe that's perhaps what the big issue is and what the split between the community is, and why there's so much problems and so much fights between each other. Because it, as much as I bash on the Bungie bandwagon, it hurts me because it's really sad, to see someone lose a game they love. But likewise, you can't expect Halo to stay the same forever. And I'm not trying to force my ideas on anybody. There's not much you're gonna really do to make me hate Halo. I've always enjoyed every Halo. I've always bought every Halo. I've always played it. I have an Xbox because Halo's on Xbox. If Halo announced tomorrow that it was going to PlayStation or whatever, I my Xbox might be going out the window. Or hey, it's going to Nintendo Switch. I'm going to get me a Nintendo Switch right now. I have an Xbox because I love Halo. It's a game I've played since I was 5, 6 years old, whatever. I've enjoyed it. I can't tell you how many times I've played the CE campaign. I know like every freaking line from it. I broke my first original Xbox playing Halo CE, man. I love the I love it. I really do. And I want the community to be able to have fun too. But I honestly think having this tournament side for Halo is a really good deal for us. I really think Halo 5 is a good deal for us. I think it's going to increase our fan base because you got to be on. You got to look at it this way too. It is about the game, but for the companies and all that and Microsoft, it's also about the sales. And as far as it goes, with every Halo game, it's sold pretty consistently. It's all been around about the same millions. All been about the same. Though I don't remember the exact number because it's been a while since I looked.
Yeah,
I think that
it's always been
with
up
MLG
there.
picking Halo back up, it's gonna really increase and triple our fan base because Call of Duty, let's be honest, if it knows what's good for it, is on its way out. That's gonna leave a large vacuum, and Halo is the primary title. So if Halo goes right now and we really seize on this tournament style and take MLG or whatever, we really have a chance to increase our fan base. We really have a chance not to just increase the number of copies and games, whatever Halo sells, whatever. We have a chance to really put the series out there for the whole entire world to see, you know what I mean? And next, now you got people running around with Halo hoodies and team hoodies, all this kind of crap, you know? Why not? Why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we? Instead of just trying to sit here and be, oh, well, it's not like Halo 3, so it's not fun anymore. I'm sorry. Halo 3 was fun and all and everything, but it's got to change. It has to make advancements. It's got to be different. You got to do something different or it's going to get dry. It's not going to be fun. And that's just how it's going to be. Personally, I don't see a lot of the issues. I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with it,
And I'm kind of in the same
But,
boat you are. You know,
right.
Halo being picked up by MLG and everything like that, Halo becoming as competitive as it is definitely bringing a lot more people to Halo. Like, so you have a lot of
Right.
COD players that are getting sick and tired of the exact same game every year. Think about the AM
Right.
players that are getting, they're not getting any money or they're getting small amounts of money, and that small amount they're probably spending to make it to those tournaments so they get destroyed at. They're like, you know what, I'm getting sick and tired of this.
Right.
Oh, wait a second. What is this maybe they've never played a Halo game before. What is this Halo?
Right.
What is Halo? I've never played this before. He goes and looks at whatever tournament. He goes and looks at whatever they're going to do for their online matchmaking for in the new competitive under MLG. He goes and watches it. He's like, "Dang, this looks really fun. I'm going to step away from COD. I'm going to step away from the PS4 and I'm going to go and play on the Xbox One. I'm going to go play Halo. I'm going to go compete in Halo." And it's going to be really big to see, and I can't wait to see how much more Halo is going to stride. And say,
Right.
say Halo takes the same ideas from COD where they have the built-in game battle matchmaking where you legitimately
Mm-hmm.
just load into game battles and it will set up your match for you. You don't have to set anything up. That right there,
Right.
if that comes to Halo 6, I see Halo competitively just not having
Really
any
explode.
problems. Yeah, not having any problems getting big. That's like go go look at Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is so big because it is a really competitive multiplayer shooter on the PC. It is still a Twitch
Right.
shooter. If I miss, if you hit me in the head with a Desert Eagle, I'm not going to live. It is super
Right.
realistic, super competitive, but it is not fast paced. No one has complained about it ever being too quote unquote fast paced. but
Right.
they have also never taken any giant steps adding in, say, sprint. You still can't sprint in that game, as far as I know. You have to pull out your knife and you move a
Right.
little faster with the knife. The knife has faster base movement speed. And that is the biggest
Right.
difference between that game and, say, console games. Because a lot of console games, you have to, you sprint around the map. When you're playing a PC game, you're normally walking around the map. Unreal Tournament, Counter Strike, you're walking around all those maps. You're not sprinting around.
Because as far as I know, I've never really tried Counter Strike, but isn't Counter Strike where it's kind of like how Rainbow Six Siege is? You only get one life
Yeah,
on each side,
it's basically five v
and then
five,
you have to find the
one
objective room.
life, and then the terrorists have a bomb, and there are two bomb sites that the counter terrorists must defend. The terrorists can either
Right.
win by planting the bomb and the bomb blowing up, or killing all the counter terrorists. The counter terrorists win by defusing the bomb or killing all of the terrorists.
Right.
And they also have the
I
feature of you get certain amount of money per round. You get certain amount of money for winning the round, for losing the round, for for certain things, and it just helps out. Like say me and you are playing and we're getting beat, and we win a round, and I pick up an op, which is a one-shot
right.
sniper, pretty much an always one-shot sniper rifle. If I pick up that op, I can hold down all of A site. Say I hold down all of A site and they push me, and I don't go down and I 1v4 on A site. It doesn't matter what happens. We can let the time run out and still win because they can't plant and they can't
Right.
kill us. So I mean, I kind of want
That's I
to
mean
see
that's a lot
something like
how
that come to Halo, but I also don't want to see
I
something
wouldn't mind
so
some.
realistic coming to Halo. I don't like the SWAT game type
I
because I don't like a Twitch shooter on a console.
right. I wouldn't mind them having a game type like that. I don't want the whole game to be like that because that's a lot how like Rainbow Six Siege is, and Siege is fun, but my only thing against games like that is it gets boring after a while because you're still just doing the same freaking die. You're out for the whole round. It kind of sucks. Cause Halo is, I get my AR, I get to go mess people up. It's fun.
Yeah, and say you're not,
That's what Halo's about.
say you
Fun
play,
gunfights,
yeah, and say you play a
enjoyment.
bad
Fun.
gunfight. Say you get into a bad funk and you play 3 matches in a row where you just get, or say your first 3 matches you get ranked against really high ranked players for some reason, and
Right, which
you
happens a
just get,
lot.
completely destroyed, and say it's one life per round, and say you're getting first death every round, then you're
Right,
sitting there not having fun. You might decide, you know what, I'm not going to play a Halo game again. I don't like this.
right,
And that could turn off a potential, someone that could stay with Halo
right.
potentially for, that being their main competitive game. I personally love Counter Strike and all, but, I am still inclined to play Halo competitively. I am not, I'm not going to go out and
I
build the best PC to play Counter Strike just because I like to play it. It's
right.
a casual game for me, and it just happens to be really competitive.
I like Rainbow a lot because I've played the first two Rainbows even before I played Siege, and I have so many fun, good memories. I met so many of my good friends online that just from playing those games, I love them. I do, and really, I think if anybody has a right to bitch about being pissed off that their game has made radical changes and is no longer anywhere near the same, I think it's the Rainbow community because Rainbow Six 1 and 2 are nowhere near what Siege is. And, and I'm a Rainbow fan too, I really am. And it's never a game I could go competitive in. I ranked Silver 3, whatever, for Rainbow Six Siege. I still enjoy Siege. It's a really fun game. It's a lot different than the other two, and it does it, make me sad? Sure. I liked how the other two played. They were nice, good, classic, fun game. But those were games from the early 2000s, and guess what? Even though backwards compatible, you don't really find the game on them because they're so old.
And that's kind of
And
the
it's
same way
how
Halo
games used to work
3
like that.
is now. Like Halo 3 just feels
Right,
so outdated. The hit detection, there's no hit scan, so you have to hope, it, the net code, the net
right,
quality, I guess you should call it, it's not there, you know. If you go and play the Master Chief Collection on Halo 3 and then you go play the backwards compatible Halo 3, you are playing Halo 3, and I've played matches where I was host and I couldn't kill people, or I was getting turned on because of
Right.
my connection. And then I've played matches where someone else is host from another country, and I have absolutely
Gotcha.
destroyed because I just happen to be getting really lucky with net quality.
Right. That just, I mean, six. My only thing against the Siege, Rainbow Six Sieges is just you only get that one game type, and it's just it's boring doing the same shit over and over and over again. I love the game, it's fun. I just want to be able to do something else because Terrorist Hunt, like in every Rainbow, is
It's boring.
flawed. It's not just boring, it's flawed. It's flawed. And what I mean by that is they can shoot the shit out of you and you don't even see them.
Yeah, or say you're playing on the higher difficulty or something, you can walk in a room
Where they can really
and
shoot the
like
shit
you
out of you.
don't 100% know all the spawns on this map quite yet. And you peek
Yeah,
a room and you look in the wrong direction, he
and
gets the
you're
headshot
dead.
on you. Then you have to replay and it's like, all right,
Yes.
he's here. You get to the last person and he happens to be sitting in this specific corner and you don't have any flashbangs left. And you get killed and you're like,
Yes.
wow, I get to redo all of this
If you
again.
right. Then it's just because like you have the operators, which I love the operators, man. I love the new operators, especially Dokkaebi is so much fun to use. But because you only have an operator, you can only have your operator if no one else has them and if you pick them first. So you don't always get to use the gun you want. You don't always get to use the ability you like. But in Halo, you can have what armor you want. You know what I mean? You can have whatever gun you want if you can find it. And 9 times out of 10, you can. You know, because everyone wants a BR. Because they're fun. You know, it's like that. So, it could be worse,
Yeah.
is my thing.
And to kind of wrap it up, so we're going to kind of wrap it up here. So, what do you
Okay.
think the biggest thing, if you could choose one thing we talked about that needs to change in the Halo climate in game, what do you think is the biggest thing that needs to be changed, in your opinion?
Next thing. Well, one thing like we were talking about last night about having the SMGs, before we get exactly that, is I wouldn't mind, because I thought it was a really good idea. I'd like to be able to say, if I have the BR, I have an SMG, say you want dual wield, I'd really like them to bring dual wielding back. It'd be cool, instead of having the camera around, you could just be like, I could have my SMG, I can have my BR. I have my BR out, my SMG is my second reserve, and I can pick up another SMG, but I can still switch between just having my BR and I can pull my SMG out if I need to. And then when I hit my joystick down or something like that, it whips out the other SMG and I'm dual wielding. That I think would be cool and it would really change up a lot of stuff. And then I was thinking, because we were talking about, again, how Rainbow is with their pistols, because Halo has always, for whatever reason, had trouble with pistols. I don't really know why. It's kind of hard to figure it out.
They've
But one thing
either
I'd like to
always
change is the
been
pistol.
really OP,
Too OP,
or
don't do shit,
or
or
they just, oh, is there a fly? Is that a fly running into me?
right. I wouldn't mind if something needs to be done with the pistol. The Halo 5 pistol is good. It's good. The problem is it's too good. That's the problem.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be
It's too
toned down
good.
a bit. The range is a
It
bit
needs to
much
be
on it.
toned down.
You know, the
I would
sticky aim
say
is
do it
way
like
too
Rainbow
hard.
does.
So,
Exactly. Do it like Rainbow does. It should be a secondary, not something I'm running for every time I get into a fight. It needs to be like, make it so it has the freaking infinite ammo, whatever, like we were talking about, because Rainbow's done that, and it worked really well for him. So I don't see why it wouldn't really work well here. Just make it have the infinite ammo, tone down the range. Don't make it be able to go across the whole freaking map. It's a pistol. It's supposed to be close range. It's not supposed to be able to snipe somebody. and tone down the damage, because if unless you had that a freaking Raging Bull or a Deagle, if you've ever played Rainbow, you weren't gonna really kill somebody with a pistol if you were running around with it, unless you had the G11 and barrel stuff them with with it being fully automatic. But I would be just really tone down the pistol. I think do that. I really want to see dual wielding back. I think there's a lot of changes we could incorporate. You know, have like selective fire and stuff like that. Give us more customization and let it be fun. But one thing I definitely like to do, because I would like 343 to do. I mean, is we need to find a way to be able to connect with the community. And I don't mean pricks that go on YouTube and whine and cry that everything's bad about Halo. Those aren't people trying to make real suggestions. Those are people trying to get noticed, whatever. Because bashing on Halo is cool because, everyone knows every other game but Halo sucks anyways. Because Halo's awesome. And they're just mad about it because they know their game sucks. That's all it is. And they don't have really valid opinion. But, for these new people coming in and they're having a hard time, struggling with it, like I personally did, we need to find a way to be able to help them out and get them set up and enjoy it too. Because, I really think with this tournament style game, we have a good chance to explode and take Halo to a level it's never really been before. And I feel like with a lot of people saying 343 doesn't really listen, I'm not going to say they've listened every time. No company does. You can tell that because Call of Duty clearly has not. And I feel just that we need to really stop trying to screw each other and just go, no, my way, my way, my way, my way on every side, and just go, and just pump the brakes and think about this for a second. Go, this tournament stuff can offer us a lot. There's a lot of stuff Halo can do now. There's a lot of places we can go. We have to make changes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, about Halo. Oh, it needs to stay the same. No, I'm sorry. There's no way. That can't happen. It's not true. That's all a false narrative. That's never been true. A root Halo game has always been a changing game. That's what Halo's always been. No two Halo has ever been alike in any way, shape, or form, other than skin, weapon systems, and certain very select mechanics. The real true thing that makes Halo a root game, and it's one thing I do agree with from the notes I got, is fun gunfights. And I have always had fun gunfights no matter what Halo I have played. And I think that's the biggest thing about Halo. The one thing I want to change more than anything is I want the community to come together. I want us to be able to get everything we possibly can out of Halo from every particular side and go in this tournament scene and say that, we're the number one on Xbox. We're not just the number one on Xbox. We're the number one game title worldwide. No one can touch us. No one is half as good as we are. We're 5 times better than what anyone else has. We're number one. That's what I want Halo to be. That's what I think Halo has to be. I think Halo 5 is a grand step in that right direction. I think Halo 6 is going to be an even better step. I think with this MLG step, it's really going to take us there. I really think that's where we're going. But those are my final thoughts, personally.
All right. Well, it was nice having you on, and we'll
I appreciate
probably
it.
record another one of these next month. So, yeah. See you next time.